Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the fall of 1981, CBS television launched a new detective series called Simon & Simon. The show starred Jameson Parker and Gerald McRaney as two brothers who operate a detective agency together. In this video, I'm going to discuss Jameson Parker's career leading up to landing the role of A.J. Simon on that show, and discuss what he's been up to since the show ended. And also, I'm going to share a story about how he faced off against pure evil and narrowly escaped with his life. Jameson Parker was born in 1947 in Baltimore, Maryland. He studied drama at Beloit College in Wisconsin. His first major breakthrough in acting came in 1976 when he joined the cast of the daytime soap opera One Life to Live. He was the first actor to play the role of Brad Vernon, which he would play for 120 episodes. Parker would continue to find roles in a few TV movies and one-off appearances in various TV shows over the next few years, until he landed the role of A.J. Simon on that CBS series Simon & Simon. The show was created after a CBS executive made a comment about wanting a modern-day Butch Cassidy in the Sundance Kid. Now, Simon & Simon initially struggled with ratings, and the studio was debating whether to cancel it or not. Ultimately, they decided to move it to Thursday nights following Magnum P.I. This move resulted in a huge boost in ratings, and the show would go on to run for 8 full seasons, seeing its highest ratings in seasons 2 through 4, where it ranked 7th, 5th, and 7th over the course of those 3 seasons. Following the cancellation of Simon & Simon, Jameson Parker would make a number of appearances in various TV shows, including a guest appearance on the TV show Major Dad, where he reunited with his friend and former co-star Gerald McRaney.
It's a major reunion.
Have we met before?
When Simon & Simon's Jameson Parker catches up with Gerald McRaney.
The Marine. That's right. Great way to disguise hair loss.
Major Dad, Monday.
In June of 1992, Jameson married actress Darlene Carr. 6 months later, Jameson would find himself facing death in a situation that is so crazy you couldn't make it up. Jameson's wife had been out walking their dogs, and she was confronted by a neighbor who berated her, aggressively screaming at her and stating that her dog had pooped in his yard. She told the neighbor that it wasn't her dog, that her dog hadn't done that, but the neighbor kept yelling at her and insisting that she remove the dog's droppings from his yard. When Jameson returned home, his wife relayed what had happened, and he went over to the neighbor's house to talk about the situation. Now, what happened next is something I don't think this TV detective, or really anyone, could have anticipated. The neighbor opened the door and started arguing with Jameson about the earlier incident. He then walked back into his house, only to return a few seconds later with a gun. He then shot Jameson 2 times. Jameson would later state that when the man had came back out of his house, he had a look of pure evil. With 2 gunshot wounds, one under the left armpit and the other right behind his right arm, he was somehow able to make it back to his house, where he was rushed to the hospital. Luckily, he survived and is still with us to this day. The man who shot him was arrested for attempted murder and sentenced to 9 years in prison. Jameson pretty much left show business around 2004. Since then, he has kept busy writing books and enjoying life. Some of his works include An Accidental Cowboy, Dancing with the Dead, Two Absent Friends, and Return to Laughter. Here's one last pic of Jameson Parker with co-star Gerald McRaney from Simon & Simon. I absolutely loved this show in the 1980s. Thursday nights with Magnum P.I. followed by Simon & Simon. It just couldn't get any better than that if you were a fan of detective shows. And here's where I want to hear from you. How many of you watched Simon & Simon when it aired? I look forward to reading your comments. Also, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, where I talk about the movies, TV shows, and music that I loved while growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and have a great day.